Pattaya City Expats Club is a non-profit social organisation and our speakers are volunteers. The club as such assumes no responsibility or liability for the professional reputation of or the quality of services provided by the speaker today.
G'day and Swati Krab and bonjour.
Привет.
Bonjour. Privyet is Russian for bonjour. So today we are very excited to have Yves Baron, who is like a local unbelievable celebrity in music, not only for his singing but also organising musical events. And he took us on a tour of his life. So the phrase that will always stick in my mind is, I was made in Thailand, but produced in France. Right?
Exactly. That's exactly how it was, you know. Yeah. My parents, when they met in Thailand, and then, you know, made in France, because technically I was born on the French territory. So.
And whereabouts in France were you raised?
Paris.
Oh, Paris. And you how many languages do you speak?
I speak decent French, I guess. English, Thai, of course, Italian, Spanish.
Oh my God, right? And flash forward, you have to watch this talk because I think it should be a mini series because it goes into this club scene in Paris, right? Can you recall one of the best things that happened in the club scene? Or the worst things? Were you ever scared running a club?
Yes, absolutely. There were the tremendous moments were when the celebrities came. You know, in the nightclubs, I was welcoming parties or let's say hosting parties. There were celebrities, but big celebrities showing up like Johnny Depp, like John Malkovich, like Sean Penn, like Madonna, Clapton, all those big people. Prince, I remember Prince coming.
Prince, wow, what a talent.
Prince was humongous. He was walking down and suddenly you see a troop of his band, you know, coming first, and then everybody was screaming and we couldn't see him. And you know why? Because there were two lines of people around him, and he was so small.
Yeah, he's very short.
So you couldn't see him until the moment he reached the mezzanine of the club, and then we saw him, of course, in person. Yeah. So that was one of the best memories of seeing one of my idols in front of me. And this one of the scariest moments were suddenly, oh yes, that anecdote. We were throwing a party, so we attracted maybe 3,000 people in a club in Paris. But it was a new club. We didn't know the owner that much. And at the end, we were so happy because you have a percentage on the receipt at the end as a promoter. So the club keeps one part and gives you in cash the other part. So that was at 6 a.m. in the morning, you feel rich sometimes. So we arrived and we're pretty young and enthusiastic, we are in our 20s, etc. And in fact, the guy didn't want to pay us, but we didn't know. We didn't know he was a dangerous mobster. We had no clue. So we arrived and we sit down and we waited for the money. And so he puts like very small notes, like something that you can buy a sandwich out of. And we attracted 3,000 people. It's a chunk of money. He said, I'm not going to pay you.
Oh my God.
And based on what? Oh yeah, because I want to keep the money for myself. Anything you want to say, and then poof, there's a gun. Before he says there's a gun on the table in front of us, and of course we are kids. I mean, not that kiddos, but still kids in front of a gun. Everybody is a kid anyway. So we looked at the gun and we said, okay, we take the money, we go back home.
Take the money and run.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I think this thing you talk about the clubs in France. I think, wow, this is the background for a mini series and so forth. So nothing quite that dangerous has happened to you since you moved to Thailand?
Oh no, absolutely not. The club scene is very laid back now, and in France as well has become more laid back. It's entrepreneurs who run the nightlife now. My childhood friends actually who run the entire nightlife business in France. So all the mobsters were chased out of Paris. They didn't want the dirty money to be there anymore.
And to tell us a little, you do so much. You must be one of the busiest, you and Jason, I think, are like the busiest musos and stuff I know. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing at the moment. You're doing some coaching, I know.
Yes, I do. So the coaching, the vocal coaching, and even for public speakers as well. So, entrepreneurs and businessmen come to me as well. So that's one part. The other part, of course, is, as you know, because you are friends with many of my friends, like Shirley, for example, so importing talents. And now, of course, we're targeting the next winter season. So Shirley is going to come back and all those talents are coming back. The first ones are coming in June, actually. I've got Alisa from Russia and then Julie from Tahiti. So coming over to perform in Thailand. So that's another part. The third part is what we call the artistic direction, which means you are in charge of the entertainment and promoting the entertainment in a venue. I do that for Café La Plage on Pattaya Beach Road. And there's another venue coming as well. 2 other venues.
Is it a secret or can you tell us?
No, I can tell the locations without naming the venues because they're not open yet. And there's going to be one in the center of Pattaya, like in Soi Buakau area. And the other one is going to be on the beach in Pattaya.
Wow. So if you want to, you should follow Yves Baron on Facebook. And it's Yves, YVES, and Baron with 2 R's. Is that right?
Only one.
1 R's. I knew that. I was just testing. So, it was a delightful morning. And so, you have very varied musical tastes, of course.
Yeah, well, it's being a kid of mixed cultures, you embrace everything. It's I always call children like us we are the world children. We were born with that vision of, Eurasian mixed with American, Australian cultures. I mean, because in France, we were so inspired by the UK, and the UK was welcoming already the Australian music, the New Zealand music, the American music. So it was not that far. We looked from Paris to London with an eye of admiration. So all of our English music, came from London, but from other parts of the world. We didn't know it was American. We had no clue at the beginning as kids. It's a blessing to be a We Are the World kid,
And he did a wonderful version to close off of Perfect, which was just a perfect song, perfectly done, including, of course, doing the opera parts himself. So you really, really have a look at the talk, etc. And follow Yves Baron with 1 R on Facebook so you can try to keep up with all the things he's organising and performing. So, merci beaucoup, mon ami, for a wonderful talk. So, until then, it's goodbye, swadee krap, and bonne nuit, bonsoir, and bonjour from Ren Alexander and Pattaya City Expats Club.